You've seen this all-in-one custom compact and you're overwhelmed because you're like, Michelle, I do not need that much makeup. I got your back. We're gonna start off with the collection number 4. What's great about this collection is that you save 10% on the makeup. You get this collection in the mail, you're gonna get 3 things. The first one being the brush to apply it. This is the 3D brush, offers medium coverage. The second one being an empty palette 4. Third being your tints. You're gonna get 4 tints, a contour, 2 highlights, and a blush. So the contour is the first step in our 3D foundation system, probably the most intimidating. The great thing is this pops right into your palette like this, and it will not move. We're gonna take the fluffy side of the 3D brush to go ahead and apply this. And I'm going to find my cheekbone by pressing in and looking for the bone. Most people have a natural shadow and you just wanna enhance that, so you're working on them and just push. It seems really crazy and super dark, but I promise it all blends in together perfectly. I like to apply first and then I blend the contour up for a lifted effect. And if you want this contour to be a little softer, just take your brush vertically and just blend by dabbing back and forth until you soften it up to the intensity that you want. Put the contours on first because I can blend in and fix any mistakes I make with the highlights. The first and most important one that you're gonna get is your main highlight or your darker of the 2 highlight shades. Our highlights are basically your foundation and concealer shade. So the darker one is gonna be more like your foundation shade or the shade you use to cover. Pop that right in. Let's take the pointed side for the foundation colored shades. We're gonna pick up a very little bit by dabbing. And then I start usually in the center of the face, which is where we usually have the stuff we want to cover the most. Cover up my dark circles, any redness I might have on my skin. Use this to clean up our contour right there. Don't need very much of this. It goes such a long way. I'll grab a little bit just on the center of my face here on my mouth and a little tiny bit just to blend in that forehead contour so that it's not such a harsh line. And then I'll use that same pointed side to just blend the color outwards. And on the jawline, I'm gonna blend inwards and down. And blend the highlight upwards towards my contour. This line is too harsh for you. Again, just take the fluffy side and just soften it up by dabbing right on top. Next up is a brightening highlight or a brightening concealer shade. One thing I've learned about this shade is you don't need as much as you think because again, super concentrated and a little goes a very long way. Especially for mature skin or anyone who's worried about creasing, you don't want to use very much of this. So I take the very tip of the brush, pick up the smallest bit, dot in the inner corner, on my cheekbone and on the outer corner. I like to take a little bit down the center of my nose, on my forehead. If you want a more dramatic contour, you can go ahead and place it here or on the center of the chin for a pop. Then we're gonna take that pointed side of the brush again and blend down into that triangle shape and outwards. And to blend, we're literally just swiping the product away like as if it were powder. See how this is starting to give us more of that 3-dimensional foundation finish? Blend inwards towards my nose contour and blend my chin down. Go back in with this brush if I find that there are any harsh lines and you can just dab to blend. And this is with just these 3 colors, a contour, a foundation highlight shade, and a brightening concealer highlight shade. You can totally leave it like this, or I like to add a lip and cheek, which is a cream blush. The only thing with these collections is you can't choose the shade of lip and cheek, but there is a shade that is gonna work with these other shades. The fluffy side of the brush to go ahead and apply my blush just on the apples of the cheek. Look at the difference between this side with the lip and cheek on the cheeks and this side without. Great thing about cream makeup too is you can use it however you want. I like to take some contour and put it just on the outer corners of my eye and my brightening highlight as our lid eyeshadow shade. And this lip and cheek shade, of course, can be used on the lips too, just for a little wash of color. Make sure to finish off with a little bit of setting spray. If you're an oily gal, make sure that you pick up the powder and brush collection. That's gonna make sure that you stay shine free all day long. Comment the word collection and I'll send you a link to pick out your own pre-built collection.